Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some more Higurashi. Last episode of just some more Natsumi stuff. Things are going really good for that Dane. I don't know if we'll actually see them again or if they'll take part in like a bigger picture, or maybe they just wanted to give them a cameo to show, hey, those guys are doing great. So either way, it was nice to see them. I'm glad everything's working out for them. Looks like we're getting some Tomoe POV, which we haven't had so far this arc, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, let's just see what she's doing outside of Angel Mort. Tomoe wiped the sweat from her forehead with a handkerchief and caught her breath while checking her watch in front of the meeting place. Despite moving at a brisk pace, I wonder who she's meeting at Angel Mort. It's only one man who always sets up meetings with here. Despite moving at a brisk pace, it took me at least 30 minutes to walk from here from the station. She did hear it was far away, so maybe she would have been better off taking a taxi instead of being so stingy. Excuse me? Don't diss Angel Mort. She lightly frowned, then took a good long look at the store with a bitter smile on her face. Maid Cafe Restaurant, Angel Mort. Famous for its colorful costumes and vibrant sweets, this restaurant chain now had locations in urban areas all across the country. I think I mentioned this before, but remember the good old days when Angel Mort had shit sweets, and then they retconned it to actually being just a good restaurant too? I remember. But her first visit was at Tokyo location with her former boss, Yamokai. I wonder if we'll see him this arc. And Madoka would be nice. She was so overwhelmed by the strange atmosphere that she thought that she shouted from the bottom of her heart, I'm never, ever coming back. Or so she thought. Nevertheless, ever since that day, Tomoe was completely fascinated by the taste of the sweets the store had to offer. She had been using her loyalty card to rack up a fair number of points up until today. So she's actually an Angel Mort enjoyer. Good for her. No, the truth is, when she pulled out her membership card out of her jacket pocket, it was a dazzling gold color. Oh man, she's been racking those points, man. She's climbing the Angel Mort customer ranking ladder. Calling it a fair number of points was a major understatement. Not even close. Additionally, since female customers are something of a rarity, the waitresses at the Tokyo store recognize her as a regular customer the moment they see her. Although there is another, more intense reason they recognize her. Tomoe remembered a meeting and quickly ran up the stairs. Then she opened the door and stepped inside. My lady. As she said that, she looked over the shoulder of the waitress greeting her to check the shop, and a little ways from the back she noticed a raised hand. When Tomoe saw that, she turned and smiled, then waited for the waitress's permission before heading to the table. It's not Oishi. I was gonna question it because it's all the way in Kakuchi, but oh my god, it's Natsumi. We saw her again. I was worried we wouldn't see her again. And we got to see her long hair in casual clothes. I will say, I think it does actually look pretty good in her casual clothes. Like a little bit better than her school uniform. Nice. I don't believe that. The girl, I think she's just being polite. The girl sitting on the far side of the table, Natsumi, shook her head and smiled happily. Despite what she said, the orange juice sitting in front of her was half empty. Yeah, she's just a great girl. And the ice was completely melted. How do they know each other though? Because then all the stuff that happened between them was like post the Great Hinamizawa disaster. At least, that's what I think. Tomoe took a seat across from her, and suddenly let out a chuckle as she looked at the glass. Still, compared to when they first met, when she didn't order anything at their meetings, and just drank water, it seemed like she was feeling a little less reserved. You know what? Maybe they're in contact because Tomoe's like been pursuing this case ever since that one girl died, whose name I forgot, the blue-haired girl. Maybe like her whole motivation changed and she's been actively seeking out people like Natsumi. Maybe. Thinking that brought her a little happiness.
どうかしましたか? 別に.
It's the opposite. Everything is great.
にしても、なんだかデートみたいな会話よね。女同士なのにちょっとくすぐったいわ。そうですね。あ、何か飲みますか？そうね。久々に甘いものもいいかな。すみません。
Tomoe raised her hand and called out a waitress standing nearby. Then the waitress came running with a smile on her face and spread the menu out in front of her, and Tomoe circled the item in the right-hand corner of the menu with her finger.
ここにあるレディース食べ放題コ
All
ー
you
ス
can eat.
まだ
It's
やってる？
nighttime, man. Really snacking on desserts like this? I
この
respect
店
it though,
の全商
honestly.
品が対象となっております。じゃあそれ2人分で。このページに載ってるケーキ、とりあえず
All
全部
the
持ってきて。
cakes? Holy.
承知いたしましたお嬢さん。ああ、心配しないで。一度でなくてもいいから。
Oh, she just realized the gravity of the situation. I was about to say, I wonder how much Natsumi can eat, but I bet Tomoe can clean up no matter what.
あと私、ホットコーヒーね。はい、すぐに。
She's terrified. The waitress's eyes opened wide in disbelief at Tomoe's order. Nevertheless, she bowed and headed back to the kitchen to fulfill her duties. Natsumi let out an amused giggle as she watched the waitress go.
相変わらずすごいですね。
Incredible stomach. Honestly, the most enviable metabolism. How she can eat like 20 burgers and a billion cakes and not gain weight.
私だったら1個でもうお腹いっぱいなのに。まあね。それだけ動いてるし、頭も使う仕事してるから。
She's burning like 10,000 calories a day.
女性らしくないってよく言われるけど、これを控えたら人生の楽しみが減っちゃうもん。
Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, there's a huge commotion like the place was being turned upside down. Well, it's nighttime. I doubt they had all the food ready.
チーフ？ひょっとして、
Oh, or it's her rep. She's known as that one woman who eats a bunch of dates and is a gold member.
ええ、間違いないわ。
The legendary Chifu.
あの方は
Miss Quadruple.
ミス・クワドラブルよ。
Found the title for this episode.
それって去年の冬、東京店でスイーツの全メニュ
Holy
ー
shit.
4回転を達成した
4 of every item? That is actually insane. Even if it was a small menu, which I don't think it's that small, that's insane. All the staff suddenly turned and gawked at the fat picture from the head office hanging on the wall. Warning, watch out for Miss Quadruple. It was a close-up black and white photo of a woman with a vague smile on her face, but it felt more like a wanted poster you'd see on a police box. Below that was a caption written in a thick red marker, "Beware."
確かその時の東京店のメニューってパーティー用の特
They're
大ホールケー
fucking
キもあったんですよ
shocked,
ね。
dude. It's an emergency.
10人がかりでも食べきれないでっかいやつ。
Oh my god, what did the holy shit? It gets worse. She got the black hole in her
って
stomach.
いうか、それを除外してもパフェの種類は20以上もあったんでしょ？
I mean, even me, I feel like I can probably down a good amount of parfaits, but the whole cake's a little much. Like maybe like a tiny cheesesteak, like a medium-sized cheesesteak. I can probably down one and maybe even a bit more, but I don't know, man. It's crazy. Eating 80 parfaits. I've only had a parfait once. It was like a matcha parfait at a place that only sold matcha products, like different matcha drinks and matcha pastries and stuff, but it was pretty good. Kinda down for a parfait. Too bad it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Maybe I'll look for one this weekend.
それに関東地区の春のデザートフェスタで恒例のフードバトルが中止になったのも、その人が冬のフェスタで量、ス
What the
ピード、
fuck?
目利きの3部門で圧勝したからだって聞きましたけど。
She's clearing food like food tournaments too?
おまけにその人に負けじと挑んだ男子が全員救急車で運ばれて。
She's a menace. Unfortunately, none of the staff at the Quadruple location actually witnessed the scene. However, the people who have witnessed it described it as a tragedy and turned pale whenever they spoke of it. Holy shit.
そもそも赤いなんとかってやつにろくなやつがいたためしがない。
Okay, that's rude, but it is. I mean, to be fair, if you see someone in red pants and a red jacket, they do kind of have villain vibes for sure. It's like that one guy. I can't remember his face. Cornelius from K&K, the anime. Insert picture on screen if I remember. I usually forget, so probably won't see it.
ブラックホールに引き込まれる隕石とか小惑星とかってきっとああいう風に消えていくんだろうな。
Excuse me, he's stealing my thunder? I said that too.
鉄の胃袋だとか全身胃袋だとかそんなチャチなもんじゃ断じてねえ。もっと恐ろしいものの片鱗を味わったぜ。
The void. They'd barely believe any of those words. No, that wasn't it. They didn't want to believe it. Because much like how sumo wrestlers and macho Superman were concepts that didn't belong together, lady and glutton were concepts that should never be combined, right? Miotsushi's never been to America, man.
正当な商取引を踏んでいるだけに、ある意味でクレーマーよりよっぽど立ちが悪いですね。
とにかく今休憩に入っているパティシエ全員呼び戻して。
Summon all the
クリ
troops.
スマス商戦と同等のスクランブルシフトで乗り切るわよ。
了解しました。
Okay. Really hyping her up. By tomorrow, Tomoe would be famous, or rather infamous, at the Takuchi location. Nevertheless,
レディース食べ放題なんて危険な代物をメニューに残していたのよ。
damn, I wonder if they've been taking it off ever since Tomoe. Did she just been destroying the stores?
カモがネギしょった上に味噌抱えて鍋まで持ってったようなもんでしょ。
The head chef cursed at the store manager for completely failing to understand the horrifying notion that women have a second stomach for desserts. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, happy me music. Ba, 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 ba. It's not even me music, it's just very happy and relaxing music. Beyond the hustle and bustle in the kitchen, Tomoe and Natsumi were having an enjoyable chat full of friendly atmosphere.
ほんと、なんだか見違えちゃったわね。手を振ってくれなかったら多分しばらく気づかなかったんじゃないかな。大げさですよ、ともえさん。
Yeah, how many people do you know with seaweed colored hair, okay?
それよりもどう？ その髪みんなも驚いてたでしょ。
すごく。それに千里ちゃんたちみんなもいい、似合ってるって言ってくれて。
だから大丈夫だって言ったでしょ。ストレートのロングは古来より美人の証明なんだから。
Can never really go wrong with it compared to trying like a different hairstyle. Like no one's gonna say, oh, your hair looks too straight or it's too, I mean, too long maybe, but
これで少しは私の見立てが正しか
kinda
った
just a
と信じる
classic.
気になった。
Sorry, this sounds so good, man. Natsumi laughed and nodded while bashfully running her fingers through her hair. Tomoe had told her from the start it would be alright, but she was worried about how the class might react. Those responses brought her that much more joy.
ねえ夏美さん、世界変わった？あなたの目に映ってる世界少しは明るくなった？
Surely it does. She's been definitely the happiest she's been since the other arts. Well, maybe except the time when she got married, but she's been pretty happy for her age in comparison.
はい。
Natsumi tightly held her hands against her chest and firmly nodded back to her. Even thought? Translators, I know we're not paying you, but you better put your heart. No, I'm joking. But also it's a mistake. But I don't blame them because it's free. Even though it was already nighttime, there was something dazzlingly bright in her field of view, and it wasn't just a trick of the lighting. That's right. It was just a few days ago that Natsumi decided to change up her hairstyle. On the way back from her part-time job, while taking shelter in front of Kikuchi Station during a sudden rain shower, she happened to run into Tomoe, who was in the middle of heading to the police station, and their conversation at the time was what triggered it. Oh, so they didn't know each other for long? They actually just met randomly?
Natsumi-san?
No, they didn't. Oh, sorry. I'm boggled.
こんにちは。
あなたも朝の天気予報に騙された口？
はい。
Am I crazy or her eyes look darker when she has her hair tied up? I might be crazy. Maybe it's because it's a darker background. Natsumi reproachfully looked up at the gloomy sky as she answered. The sky was so dark and stagnant that it looked like it was almost nightfall, but it was probably just the rain, and they waited a little while. It probably would let up, if they waited. But the rain started well before she was able to take shelter under the roof, so her wet clothes and hair were uncomfortably clinging to her skin. She tried to wipe herself down with a handkerchief, but it was so small it quickly became soggy and useless. That moment, a soft object was suddenly draped over her head, blocking her view. It was a towel. And when she had lightly moved it out of her eyes, she found Tomoe there smiling at her.
ともえさん。
You bring a towel with you? Everywhere you go?
貸してあげる。私って汗っかきだからいつもハンカチじゃ足りないのよ。
Okay, that's kind of gross. I'm guessing it's clean though.
あ、それはまだ使ってないやつだ
Okay,
からね。
thank you. If she didn't clarify, that would be kind of nasty.
すみません。
Bringing a whole ass towel with her. Yeah, because she burns 10,000 calories a day. Probably more, honestly. Thinking it would be rude to refuse the favor at this point, Natsumi shrugged her shoulders and offered her thanks. The truth is, she really did think she'd catch a cold if she remained the way she was. Tomoe's towel was surprisingly absorbent, like something designed for athletes. A fragrant scent tickled her nose and made her feel very comfortable.
洗剤じゃないよね。何の香りなんだろう。
smells like Tomoe. Thinking that, while wiping her hair down like she was combing it, Natsumi suddenly caught her finger on a knot. And to make it worse, her elastic hair tie came out in the process, causing her bun to come undone, and her carefully tied hair to spill over and fall down. Sudden transformation. She tried to set it back in a hurry, but it usually takes several minutes to tie it in the morning, and it would be especially difficult right now since she didn't have a mirror.
へえ。
何か。
あ、ごめんなさい。
Bro, I swear her eyes looked. It might be a placebo thing.
私、髪をほどいた夏美
Some
さんを初
Mandela
めて
shit
見た
going
から。
on.
とっても綺麗な髪ね。
People just couldn't appreciate her beautiful hair but while it was in a bun, huh? Still think this is some anti-bun propaganda?
そうですか。
ええ。艶やかだし、滑らかで、髪を洗うの結構時間かけてるんじゃない？普段からトリートメントをしっかりやっていないと、こうはならないもの。
ありがとうございます。
I was trying to make a joke, but I didn't! I waited too long! Embarrassed by Tomoe, I was trying to cook it up properly. Embarrassed by Tomoe's impressions, Natsumi suddenly looked away to hide her burning cheeks. Even if it was flattering, she couldn't quite handle being called beautiful.
それに、お団子結びだからあんまり目立たないけど、相当伸ばしているのね。
Yeah, that's the beauty of buns. Keep shit a mystery, you know? I mean, you need long hair to make buns.
これならストレートで伸ばしている方がきっと可愛いと思うんだけどな。
But her grandma taught her the bun technique.
どうしたの、夏美さん。
Which I honestly forgot about that. It just popped in my head randomly. For some reason, Natsumi suddenly turned her gaze downward and started looking gloomy. Sensing the discomfort in that reaction, Tomoe ran through her words again in her head, wondering if she said something weird, but before she could say anything, Natsumi muttered a response.
私、以前は髪結ばないで流していたんです。でも。
でも
Demo?
前の町で嫌なあ
What?
だ名つけられちゃっ
Oh no, not some bullying.
て、長い髪で幽霊みたいな感じに見えるから。
Actually, I think she told us about this lore before. I just forgot about it. What the? What's wrong? First of all, as a Higurashi, I'm pretty sure traditionally, if you just Google this shit, it traditionally has like a bob cut, so it's like short hair. So what are these guys cooking right here? Let me just doodle it now. I'm doodling it. Yeah, brother. It's well, okay, it's like medium hair. It's either short to medium hair. It's nothing like, even the longer hair versions I see in doodle images is shorter than Natsumi's hair right now in that picture, so. What a weird insult. That's some weak ass bullying. Plus, these are like cool ghosts. They like give people money. They're like fortune ghosts.
座敷わらしってあれおかっぱの妖怪でしょ？
That's what I'm saying.
全然関係ないじゃない。
These bullies suck at bullying, man. Need to take some lessons. Tomoe couldn't help but laugh, amazed by their poor naming sense and vocabulary. Although most of the nicknames children come up with are completely baseless.
せめて雪女とか言ってみなさいよね。
Yeah, Yukiona would fit better, I feel. Because it has the same hair.
スノーホワイトは違ったか。
でも私、昔はネクラで人と喋るのが今よりも苦手で、だからやめてって強く言い返せなくて、その後もずっと。
そうなんだ。 それって小学校の時？
Natsumi remained silent and nodded. Upon hearing that, Tomoe recalled that she had gone through a similar experience of her own, then stopped smiling and clicked her tongue.
たく、どの世代にもバカ男子はいるものね。
Young children before puberty, especially the boys, have a tendency to tease girls and make fun of them. The ones who mature fastest, look the most stylish, or have blonde hair are most likely to be targeted. Essentially the ones who show the strongest sexual dimorphism. In many cases, it's like the flip side of shyness that emanates from some form of longing. It's nothing more than an act of wanting to make people pay attention to you. However, in some cases, their mental state is far too underdeveloped, so they take it too far and end up deeply hurting their targets. And, of course, the listener will overinterpret it and take it to heart, which can have a negative effect on their interpersonal development.
この子もきっとそうなんだろうな。
Tomoe had known for a while now that Natsumi was a particularly sensitive girl. And so given that personality, it was especially likely that unpleasant past memories could remain traumatizing even as she grew older, and that could develop into a type of inferiority complex.
いたわね、そういう意地悪なやつって。私だったら間違いなくぶっこ
Okay.
もといぶっ飛ばしてやってるところなんだけど。
本当は私、髪を結ぶのあんまりうまくないから、流した髪型の方が気楽なんです。でも、それ以来嫌なイメージがついちゃって。分かっているんです。そんなの無視すればいいってことくらい。ともえさんみたいに自分をしっかり持っている人から見れば、気が弱すぎますよね。
夏美さん。
She had a hard life. Tomoe couldn't help but mutter that to herself. She was a gentle, quiet, and adorable girl. In fact, there's no exaggeration to say that she had all the qualifications necessary to call her a beautiful girl. Nevertheless, all those aspects of her beauty actually had a negative impact on her childhood that endured even to the present day. Since she's modest, she won't talk back to her aggressors in a fierce tone. Since she's kind, she lets all her discontent accumulate within herself. And since she's diligent and obedient, she looks for a reasoning behind the things that they said, which actually makes it difficult for her to escape that negative mindset. As a result, she continues to be dragged down by past slander, and her lack of self-confidence persists even now.
それがこの子の根っこをダメにしているのね。
Tomoe gently sighed while watching the flow of people folding up their umbrellas as they passed through the ticket gates. It's easy to tell someone to cheer up when you're in a better position. True, I know. Definitely when someone's feeling angry and someone's like, hey, cheer up. Like, it can definitely just piss the person off more. At the very least, if you lightly smile and talk down the problem, the surrounding atmosphere will return to normal and the conversation will end there. But Tomoe shook her head. At this rate, Natsumi would continue to carry these worries for a long time coming.
それでいいわけがない。
She didn't need anyone saying anything to know that might be considered meddlesome. But for some reason, in that state, all they need is the time to come to a decision, and someone who can trigger it. Although it might be arrogant and presumptuous to believe that she was in that position right now.
いいわ。おせっかい上等よ。
Let's go. Having come to a decision, Tomoe gently stroked Natsumi's head as she continued hiding her face behind the towel. And when the girl looked up with a dubious expression, Tomoe slowly spoke up.
夏美さん。むしろ私は あなたの方こそ羨ましいわよ。
Look at my hair, dude. It's a mess.
私はこういう性格だから、口よりも手が早くて、しょっちゅう男子相手にでも喧嘩を追っ始めるやつだったの。
Yep, that's definitely describes Tomoe.
それに背もこんなで胸も、まあ
Your chest is fine. She's well proportioned, I think. I don't know how tall she is though.
ワンピースの似合う同級生がすごく妬ましかったし、色気なしってことでこっぴどい失恋をした時もあって、かなり落ち込んだこともあったな。
ともえさんがですか。
Even you can feel depressed.
そりゃ私も学生時代はそれなりに乙女だったからね。かっこいい人を好きになって告白して見事玉砕なんてことが何度もあったわ。だからどうやったら可愛くなれるかとか、男の人の好みに近づけるのかなんて、今から考えれば笑っちゃうようなことで悩んで、いろいろと。
I slipped. My bad.
でもね、
Tomoe shrugged her shoulders with a bitter smile on her face, and spoke in as a soft tone as she could muster.
あなたが私になれないように、私もあなたにはなれない。可愛い子、おしとやかな女性、今でもちょっとは憧れるけど、残念ながら私とは適性が違うのよね。だから私は私をやるしかないってある時に気づいたというか、吹っ切れたのよ。
私をやる。
Yes. Be yourself.
ありのままに自然体でありつつ、人からも良いと褒めら
Actually,
れ
I'm not
て
being
自分の
sarcastic.
いいと信じることをまっすぐに精一杯表に出していこうってね。もちろん人に不快感を与えるような欠点は直すように心がけるけど、そればかりを意識してると直すよりもむしろ
The
隠す
balance.
方に気持ちがいっ
It's
ち
a
ゃうから。
balance of being self-conscious, but also not taking everyone's opinion to heart about your life. Fixing versus hiding your shortcomings. Those two responses are very similar, and the latter can often be achieved without the host even realizing it. If you don't want to be told you're a poor speaker, simply don't join the conversation in the first place. If you don't want people pointing out that you're weak-willed, don't interact with people at all. Just don't interact with people, man. See how that see? But that act won't eliminate or mitigate your shortcomings. You're actually missing out on the opportunity to do so. And you can't let others see that you're hiding how you feel. So that shame casts a shadow on your heart, leading to a real possibility of developing an inferiority complex or self-loathing.
直すと隠すは違う。
ええ。そしてそれに気づくことができたのは、自分自身と向き合って良いところと悪いところをしっかり意識したおかげだと思う。とりあえず男勝りで頑固一徹って女性の評価らしくないけど、そこがいいって言ってくれた人がいたから、それを信じてやってみた。自分にとっても無理がないし楽だったしね。でそうしているうちにガサツで爪の甘い欠点が出てきたから、周囲の人たちに迷惑をかけないように少しずつ直すことを心がけていった。それが今の私なのよ。
Watashi. Natsumi suddenly looked back on herself, with Tomoe's words circling over and over inside her head. How? How had she been facing herself up until now? No, had she ever really faced herself at all? She was always conscious of the shortcomings that made things difficult for others, and that her parents pointed out to her. And she had been trying over and over to improve them through trial and error.
でも
Were the things she did actually fixing things? Her gloomy personality, her melancholy appearance, her lack of special skills to entertain others, and general lack of conversation ability. She spent the whole time trying to hide them rather than fix them. So she was scared of other people learning about that. She was worried about those flaws that would inadvertently emerge sometime. That guilt and hesitation made her feel inferior, and it weighed heavily on her heart.
だけど。私、そんな風に思えない。あなただから。そんなにも心が強いともえさんだから、そんなことが言えるんです。
Sure, you do need to be strong to have that mindset, but just have to put an effort first of all.
名前聞いてごめんなさい。でも私はそんなにも割り切って自分を信じることができない。いいところって言われても何も思いつかないし、悪いところを人に指摘されて、それがどうしたなんて開き直ることもできない。だから私はあなたみたいにはなれない。それがわかるんです。よくわかってるんです。
Natsumi gently lit down and muttered that, with the towel still on her head. Even she knew it was a miserable thing to say, but she couldn't help saying it. A strong person, with the confidence to take on anything, and a sense of superiority over others, can easily overcome pain and hardship. But for those who don't, the mere act of making an effort is painful and trying. Their circumstances were completely different, so someone like Tomoe, who was excellent at everything, couldn't understand her feelings. She was sincerely looking out for Natsumi, but as long as there was that huge disparity between them, she was ultimately just imposing her own selfish values on the girl. However, it worked. Because Natsumi is definitely doing better.
夏美さん、気づいてる？今あなた、私と同じことを言ったのよ。
Look at the drip though, man. That belt goes so hard on Tomoe. You know that shit's not practical. That shit's fashion. Natsumi suddenly lit up in response to Tomoe's laughter and began to blush as she thought about the words she just said. It was just as she said. Though emotions behind them were complete opposite, the actual words were the same.
さっきも言った通り、あなたが私になれないのは、その逆が成立しないのと同じ。だから、私になんてなる必要は全然ない。あなたなりの変わるきっかけを見つけて、あなたにできる範囲とやり方を探し出せばいいの。それは、新しい何かを見つけ出して、それを身につける努力じゃない。元からあった自分の何かをクローズアップして程よく飾りつけていくだけの、言うなれば見方や発想の転換なのよ。
見方や発想を変える。
ええ、そういうこと。0から1は大変だけど、1をどう見せるかは思ったよりも楽。それにあなたには私にはないとても素敵なところがあるじゃない？
True, kinda.
例えばこの髪。
Yeah, I was about to
でしょ？
say the hair, but she beat me to it. Tomoe gently rubbed her fingers through Natsumi's moist hair as she said that. Despite being tied up a few minutes ago, her dark hair was completely straight and had a smooth feel in Tomoe's hand like it was bathed in oil.
何が妖怪よ。
Yeah, shit's not even black, man.
私はこの髪がとっても綺麗で憧れるほどに羨ましいって正直に思ったわ。
ともえさん。
でもあなたが今日ほどいてくれないままだったらきっと私はこの良さに気づかなかった。多分これと同じことなの。長所も短所もあなたの個性。 だから短所と思って隠すと長所と思われる機会をなくしちゃうのよね。それにね、価値観とか印象とかは時と場所で変化するいい加減な代物。そしていいと悪いの評価は見る人によって簡単にひっくり返る。だって野花を見て綺麗だという人もいれば、単なる雑草だって煩わしく感じる人もいるじゃない。
Very true. It's all in the POV.
そ
Everyone
れどこ
sees
ろ
things differently.
か同じ人でもその時の感情次第で違う印象を持ったりすることもよくある。
True. Everyone takes things differently.
でも
Maybe not a lesson
大
right
切
there.
なのはどれが正しいかってことじゃない。自分の身近な人、好きな人たちがどう思ってくれるか。
Selective.
そうでしょ。
Caring. Every word Tomoe said felt so warm. It was different from the half-hearted lip service and obnoxious preaching she heard before. Tomoe was offering her own advice and encouragement because she genuinely cared about her. There was a strong belief in there, full of trust in others. And so, little by little, the stifling stagnation that had been accumulating in Natsumi's chest for a while now gradually disappeared. I just remembered where Tomoe met Natsumi. If this is like, I mean, it's not the same route, but it might be like she met her in the hospital too, or whatever, in the final part of the Tomoe trilogy. Maybe it's something similar to that.
夏美さん、あなたは自分でどう思っているのかはわからないけど、優しくて真面目で素直で、私にはないあなたが十分に誇ってもいいところがある。それはとっても素敵だと思うし、少なくとも私はそんなあなたが大好きだから、胸を張って自信を持ってほしいな。
Natsumi bashfully turned her gaze downward when she heard the word love being said so directly. It was the first time someone said that straight to her face. Damn. Tomoe stole Natsumi's owl word card virginity from Todo. Kind of fucked up. But it wasn't bad at all. In fact, she was very, very happy to hear it. Not only because someone older was showing her respect, but also because Tomoe was longing for something Natsumi that she didn't have. Something of Natsumi. Even though her heart shouldn't have gotten so riled up by hearing the word love from a woman. Okay.
私も巴さんのそういうはっきり何でも言えるところ、すごく私も巴さんが好きだし、本当に
Damn,
私
we're just throwing that word out,
憧
huh?
れてるんです。
Surprise pairing? Nah, we don't know. It's in respect. Oh, I love you respectfully.
だけど私、
You know?
あなたにそう言ってもらえても全然実感ないっていうか、いつも優しくなりたい、友達に喜んでもらいたいって思っているけど、うまくだから巴さんの言ってくれたいいところが自分に本当にあるの
You
か
definitely do. You're just gloomy, like she says. Turn that gloom into bloom. You gotta start blooming. Oh, I'm so cool.
だけど友
That was
達は
off
言っ
the
てく
top
れ
of
た
the
のよ
dome,
ね。
baby.
あなたのそんなところがいいって。だったらそれを信じるってのはどうかな。
Trust
自
in
分
the
自身を
friends.
信じるって確かに結構勇気がいる。
The ultimate Higurashi message.
それはよくわかる。でもあなたが大好きな人たちはありのままのあなたがいいって言ってくれたのよね。ならもう少し力を抜いて自然になってみたら。
自然に。
ええ、そう。そうしてあなたが今まで隠していた欠点、欠点と思わされていたところを少しずつでも出して確かめてみたらどうかしら。悪いままなら相談して 直せるように努力して。でも勘違いならそのままで。そうすればきっと隠してきた時よりもずっと前向きな解決策が見つかると思うわ。
Come to think of it, Natsumi remembered something. When she confessed her honest feelings and words to Chisato and Tamato, the two of them did indeed tell her. Relying on us is fine, being honest is fine. They made a promise. If any of us is making things difficult for each other, let's talk it out properly and fix the problem. She was delighted. For Natsumi, who started feeling painfully crushed by the need to behave like a good child, those were practically the words of salvation. But honestly, she was still worried, still doubting. If she exposed that part of herself that she was hesitant to reveal and it got a poor reaction, what would she do? And it would make them disappointed or uncomfortable. In the end, would they stop liking her and instead badmouth her like her old classmates did? Well, no need to worry because we saw the result of it earlier. It was frightening just imagining it. A chill ran through Natsumi that had nothing to do with her damp clothes, and her whole body began shaking.
ダメよ、夏美さん。それがあなたの悪いところ。
Perhaps sensing the musings in Natsumi's mind, Tomoe gently poked Natsumi on the nose with her finger, and then she stared straight at the wide-eyed girl as if to offer her guidance.
相手の気持ちとか反応とかをまず考えてあげるのはとてもいいこと。だけど、自分の意思を拒絶されることばかり考えずに、容認してもらう可能性も信じなきゃ。だって、あなたは相手に迷惑をかけるつもりじゃないんだし、相手もそれが嫌だと言ったわけじゃないんだし、ね。まして、あなたの心が許せる親しい友達なんでしょ？だったら、善意の方を何よりも信じてあげないと、むしろ友達がかわいそうだと思うけどな。それが優しさってものよ。
She collapsed by the truth bomb? Right. They're open-minded people, so why not trust they're willing to accept you as you are? There's a chance you'll be betrayed, and you may not meet their expectations, so it certainly is uneasy and scary. But it's important to have faith and take that first step. Exactly. You ain't traveling anywhere if you don't take the first step, you know?
あ、そうそう。だったら夏美さん。
はい。
これもいい機会よ。勇気を振り絞るきっかけに、昔言われていた悪口がいかにいい加減でデタラメなものだったか、実際に証明してやるってのはどう？
証明ってどうやってですか？
決まってるじゃない。髪型を戻すのよ、元のストレートロングに。
That's how long straight hair Natsumi came to be.
絶対似合うはずだから。ね。
It was a successful strat, Tomoe. Congratulations.
そんな。
Natsumi was so startled she was about to fall over. And then she immediately began shaking her head. Tomoe's proposal was too big of a leap. Seriously, what kind of reaction would she get if she suddenly underwent such a drastic makeover?
できません。
Letting her hair down. What a crazy makeover. I mean, it is, because she's so bun-pilled, man.
まだ座敷わらしのことが気になる？
No one's trying to say that. It's such a stupid diss. You're
冗
not in
談
the
じゃない。
boonies anymore.
こんな可愛い妖怪あってたまるかっての。今でもそんなこと言うやつがいたら
Some cute ghosts,
私の前に連れてきなさい。すぐに眼科と精神科へ叩き込んでやるわ。
And I'll arrest them. Because it's funny.
大丈夫だって。私が保証するから。ストレートの髪の夏美さんはきっと可愛いって。絶対みんなも同じことを思うはずよ。
でも
Natsumi, stop hesitating, man. She like hesitates, then she's like, wait, Tomoe's speaking fast. I'll trust her. But wait, she's speaking fast again. I'll trust her. But it keeps happening, man. She keeps boomeranging. Natsumi ducked her head down in a hard rejection. Not a soft one, a hard. Tomoe stared at her like that for a while, but then she suddenly pinched Natsumi's cheeks and lightly tugged at them. Her facial cheeks, of course.
夏美さん、さっき私とは違うって言ってたわよね。でも一つ同じところを見つけちゃった。意外に頑固なところよ。
True. Kind of. I don't know if Natsumi's that stubborn, but Natsumi's thoughts ceased for a moment when she noticed the point of commonality between herself and Tomoe that she had never even considered before. If someone other than Tomoe told her that, she might have taken it as an insult and felt resentful. Or maybe she'd start feeling depressed and cut off the conversation right then and there. Even so, a person she loved and respected was also pointing out that she had the same characteristic in her. She wasn't sure if she was happy about it or not, but she couldn't help but have a strange feeling come over her.
私、そんなに頑固ですか？
ええ、私と同じくらいにね。だってあなた、髪を切らなかったんでしょ？勝手な憶測だったらごめんね。髪のことで悪く言われたのに、それを今まで
Interesting. I
大
didn't
切に
think
して
about
き
it like
た。
that.
ってことは、本当はその髪が自分の素敵なところだって
It's a good
あなたは
point.
思っていたんじゃないの？私もね、実は自分のこういう男勝りな性格結構気に入ってるの。だから直した方がいいって言われたりして、自分でもそうかもって思ったこともあったんだけど、でもそれって夏美さんの髪のこととなんだか似ていないかしら。
Natsumi's eyes opened wide when Tomoe pointed that out. Because it wasn't mere conjecture, it was precisely that. The truth is, she inherited this hair from her mother, and she liked it a lot. That's why she insisted on growing it out ever since she was young and never cut it. But nobody ever praised it, so she started to think it had nothing more than a personal bias, and always kept quiet about it. It became a secret feeling that she couldn't share with anyone, but Tomoe was able to spot it easily.
やっぱりこの人は違う。
It was the first time that someone understood her, or rather, that someone truly made an effort to understand her. Not even her parents had ever spoken to her that
やっ
sincerely.
ぱりともえさんはすごいな。私の思ってることすぐに分かっちゃうんだもの。さすが刑事さんですね。
まあ今は私刑事じゃないんだけどね。
私のお母さんも髪がとっても綺麗で、親戚の人たちも素敵だってよく言ってくれます。でも私は言われたことないから、ひょっとしたら似合ってないのかなって。
そんなことないわよ絶対。私はこの通り癖っ気だから、あなたのその髪がとっても羨ましいもの。むしろちょん切って外出用のつけ毛に使いたいくらいよ。
Scary.
自信持って夏美さん。昔のことは昔のこと。今ならきっとみんな素敵だって言ってくれるはずよ。私があなたに嘘を言ったことってあった？それによく考えてみて。所詮髪型を変えるだけのことでしょ？
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
だからもし反応が悪かったとしても、
You're not
次の日
cutting
に
it or
元に
anything.
戻せばそれでリセット。クラスのみんなには寝坊してセットしてくる暇なかったって
Some more
言えば
drastic
全部
makeover
チャラ
she
に
could
なる
do.
わ。
Like diet or something.
もっともそんなことは絶対ないと私は断言してもいいけどね。
それは
Oh my.
そうですけ
Stop
ど。
budding!
別にいきなりは変わらなくてもいい。
Take the first step, you said it yourself.
さすがに
Or
周りも
maybe
びっくり
Tamori
しちゃう
said
しね
that. But still, take it.
でも少しずつできる範囲から変えていくのは意外に簡単だった
Baby
りするも
steps
のよ。
even.
ともえさん。
そして自分の力で何かを変えた世界はきっとどんなに小さくてもあなたにとって素敵な明るい世界になってくれるはず。私はそう信じている。そしてあなたのために祈っているわ。
はい。
She still seemed skeptical, but even so, Natsumi thought it over for a while and then nodded. She was usually very shy and was even more likely to refuse when forcibly told to do something. But for some reason, she felt like she could completely trust Tomoe. Are you sure this time? Some sort of conviction inside her was telling her that. I mean, as much as I would like to finish, we need to end now. Long flashback and I'm tired. Next time we will complete the Angel Mort meeting and probably our timing will be fucked up, so it'll be like 10-15 minutes and then we'll start the other chapter. We'll try to get a chapter reset and get back on pace picante soon. But yeah, good episode. Lots of morale boosting for Natsumi, and as we saw earlier in the last episode or last two episodes, it worked. So good job, Tomoe. Anyways, see you guys next time with some more Higurashi. Later.